Is Mexico money challenging? Is the banking challenging? How about exchange rate? Are they challenging? And the ATM? Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.
Laura here.
Well, confusion. Apparently there's some confusion out there about the debit cards. How do you use them outside of their country? Money exchange, how does that work? They've never used it, a money exchange. They have no idea how that works. And also, what type of a debit card is the best that they can use as they travel? These are some of the things we're going to answer in this video here. Well, right now, Lori and I are traveling, and we're traveling through Southeast Asia. And what we're doing is we're posting 2 videos a week. One of them will be about Mexico, and another one will be about Southeast Asia. You know, we invite you to come with us on our little travels around Southeast Asia. I think you would enjoy it. Now, I understand that you probably, and maybe you're not interested in Southeast Asia, or maybe you've been here, but why don't you just follow us as we're going through on the other days that we're not posting things on Mexico. So I think it would, yeah, well, we're travelers, so I always like to watch things about other people traveling. So I encourage you to watch some of our videos when we are traveling. But I know Mexico is very important to you, and so we're going to give you information here on Mexico as we're traveling through Southeast Asia. Okay, 2 videos a week, one for Mexico, one for Asia. Well, why don't we look at money exchange? How does that work? Okay, a lot of people are confused. They ask, should I go to my bank, say in the United States, Canada, or another country, and should I buy Mexican pesos? You wouldn't want to do that because outside of the country, they're going to give you a terrible exchange rate. As an example, I was talking with a friend of mine years ago. He went into Wells Fargo in the United States, and he was asking to have his money turned into pesos. That way, when he came down into Mexico, he wouldn't have to worry about it. But what they were going to do, they were going to give him 8 pesos for $1 US. 8 pesos. And today, you're looking at approximately 19 pesos to 20 pesos for $1 US. So that is the way you want to do it. The other thing is, you wouldn't want to, let's say you're going to bring in about $5,000, you wouldn't want to have that much money in pesos. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to try to carry it with you? That would be very risky. Do you want to think that maybe you'll put it inside of your hotel room? That'll be risky, unless you have a safe in there in your hotel room. So we do not recommend doing that. Sometimes when you come into the country, let's say you fly in, or maybe you come across on the border, we recommend that you have some US dollars. It's always good to have US dollars, even if you have a debit card with it. So let's say you get off the plane, there's a money exchange counter right there, and what we do, and what I recommend, is go to the money exchange, maybe cash in a $100. Now, you're not going to get as good of an exchange rate as when you get to your destination, and in that town, they're going to give you a better rate because airports, you know, they have to make some money. So, but it's good to have a little bit of pesos with you. So you cash in that $100 and you get back pesos. Now, let's say you need to take a taxi from the airport to your hotel. You can pay them in pesos. Let's say you want to stop and get something to eat. Now you have pesos. Let's say you get to your hotel and you're hungry and you want to go find a restaurant, you have pesos. Okay, now when you're settled in that town, you can go to the exchange rate counter and you can ask for an exchange rate for more money. But you probably aren't going to need to do that because you're going to need to, you can use your debit card. So now, sometimes the confusion are around debit cards and how they work. Well, the thing that we recommend that you use a debit card that doesn't have a transaction fee. In other words, a foreign transaction fee. You come to an ATM and it'll say, are you willing to pay $3, $4, $5, $6 to get that money out? So the way it works is We have Charles Schwab debit card and credit card. And what they do is they pay for the foreign transaction fees. So we don't have to worry about any charge on that. The way they do it is they'll charge to your account that amount of money, but then they'll credit it back to you. You can see that they've credited it back to you in your statement. And that's a clean way of doing it. There are other credit card companies now that do offer you the foreign transaction fee. Capital One is one of those that does that. You can check online to see any credit card company and ask them about that. The other thing, what we recommend is take care of that business before you come into Mexico. Get your credit card, get your debit card, get your one that's foreign, free foreign transaction fees, and then use that when you come down. Alert them, let them know that you're traveling, and that way you're on record with them. The other thing that we do is we don't put a lot of money in there. So as an example, let's say you have in that account, you have $1,000. And so that may last you 1 week. So what you would need to do is redeposit some more money in that account once that money is used up. And you can do that online. And the reason that you do that is you don't want to have too much money in it. If for some reason your card has been compromised and somebody is using it, they can't take more than what's in there. If you had $10,000 in there, you could be in big trouble. The other thing that we do, we have a daily rate that we keep at a minimum rate. We try to keep it about $200, and we each have a card. That's another important factor. We have one in Lori's name, we have one in my name. And why do we have that? Because we have traveled and we've seen people that have used their debit card, and all at once the machine doesn't give them back the debit card, and they only have the one debit card. So I've seen that happen personally with some people. So what we do is we carry two cards. Lori has one, I have one, and this way, if one was to get lost or get eaten up in the machine, we have a backup, and that's important when you're traveling. Now, it's not necessary to have a bank in Mexico. We actually have a video and we talk about that. That's something you may want to look at. Another great thing is that when you use an ATM card in the machine, they're in English, so you don't have to worry about knowing Spanish. Now, this friend of mine, he had never traveled before, and he said, I'm confused. I don't know how to do it, because he's used to doing it in the States. He wants a $20, he puts in $20. And so he wasn't quite sure. So let me show you, as I showed my friend, how to calculate how much pesos he wants to do. Okay, so you get out your calculator, and so let's just say you want $100. So you put in 100, and the exchange rate is 19. Then you times it by 19, and that tells you that for $100, you're going to get 1,900 pesos back out of that machine. So you can count that and see if that is right. They usually always are right. So if you want to do $200, you put in $200 in there, and $200, and you times it by 19, and you come up with $3,800, okay? So that's a simple way of doing it. We're traveling in Cambodia, and so let me show you this. This is just for the fun of it. In Cambodia, it's 4,000 of their money, they're called reals, per $1 US. So you put in there 100 times 4,000, you're at $400,000, 400,000 reals at there. So it gets quite complicated, because when you're talking about big money, it really adds up quick. So in review, what you want to do is you want to get a ATM card with free foreign transaction fees. You want to come into the country, let's say with some US dollars. And again, it's good to carry US dollars with you, because if you get in an accident or something like that, then you have some money with you instead of just having a debit card, because maybe you won't be able to get to a debit card. So carry some cash with you, and then you're protecting yourself there. If you take out too much money out of your exchange rate, in other words, you have too many pesos, then you have to sell it back you're not going to get as good of a rate. So you're not going to get that 19 times 1. They may give you 17 pesos per $1. So when you're leaving, be careful that you've calculated your money properly, that you're not having too many pesos left over. You may just end up wanting to give them away. Well, I hope this has given you some clarifications and simplified things for you. Now, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe. You know, it's free. You see my face at the bottom right-hand corner there? Well, if you touch on it, you'll receive a notice once a week, because we produce, actually we're going to be producing 2 a week, but you'll be receiving a notice anytime that we post a video. And okay, don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way the little bell will ring and you will get a notification and you'll know that we have a video waiting for you, especially for you. Okay, thank you. Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.